Welcome to the channel. Today we're uncovering the top 4 Kennedy half-dollar coins from the USA. These coins aren't just pieces of history. They're valuable treasures. Stick around till the end for some jaw-dropping facts, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing coin stories. Let's start with number 4. In 1964, the United States Mint undertook a significant change in its coinage design. This was a year after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, a loss that deeply affected the entire nation. In response to the outpouring of grief and the desire to honor the late president, the Mint decided to design a new half-dollar coin featuring his image. This coin, the Kennedy half-dollar, would go on to become one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in U.S. history, loved by both collectors and everyday citizens alike. But it wasn't just a tribute to a fallen leader. It became a symbol of the nation's resilience and hope in the face of tragedy. The original design of the Kennedy half-dollar was created by U.S. Mint engraver Gilroy. His depiction of the late president is calm and dignified, capturing a sense of seriousness and wisdom in Kennedy's face. The portrait is based on a photograph taken by renowned photographer Yoichi Okamoto, which would soon be immortalized on the coin's obverse. On the reverse side, Frank Gasparro, another Mint engraver, designed the eagle that has become synonymous with American strength and unity. The eagle holds an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and readiness to defend the nation. This design would remain virtually unchanged for decades, and its longevity speaks to the power of the image it conveys. As the years passed, the Kennedy half-dollar underwent various changes. The original 90% silver content of the coin was reduced over time due to rising silver prices and the desire to make coins more affordable to mint. In 1965, the Mint began using a clad composition of copper and nickel for the coin, a move that allowed the U.S. government to continue producing coins without the high cost of precious metals. Despite these changes, the core design of the coin remained beloved, and the Kennedy half-dollar became a symbol of American history and heritage. Fast forward to 2021, and the U.S. Mint issued a new series of Kennedy half-dollars as part of their annual coin program. These 2021 coins were minted to honor the 60th anniversary of Kennedy's election to the presidency in 1960, as well as to continue the long-standing tradition of honoring Kennedy with a coin that would serve as both a tribute and a collector's item. The 2021 Kennedy half-dollar coins were made available in various forms, including proof and uncirculated editions, with some versions made of 90% silver. The release of these coins sparked excitement among collectors, who had long seen the Kennedy half-dollar as a symbol of American numismatic pride. The 2021 series continued to feature the iconic design of the president's portrait on the obverse, surrounded by the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the mint year, 2021. This design was complemented by the reverse, featuring the eagle grasping an olive branch and arrows. These timeless elements remain unchanged, evoking a sense of nostalgia for those who remember the first release of the coin nearly 6 decades ago. However, the 2021 version was special not only because of its historical connection but also because of the limited production runs that made it even more desirable to collectors. One of the key factors driving the popularity of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar was the fact that the U.S. Mint issued the coin in limited numbers. The Mint's decision to produce the coin in different finishes, including proof and uncirculated, as well as to offer versions in silver, ensured that the coins would appeal to a broad range of collectors. Proof coins, which are carefully struck with an emphasis on clarity and detail, quickly became the most sought-after versions. These proof coins are often considered the pinnacle of coin design due to the meticulous care taken during their minting process, giving them a mirror-like finish and highly detailed features. Uncirculated coins, while not as flashy as proofs, were also highly coveted by collectors, particularly because of their pristine condition straight from the mint. But the appeal of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just about the coin's appearance or historical significance. it was also about rarity and investment potential. Rare coins, particularly those that are produced in limited quantities, often increase in value over time, especially if they are in perfect or near-perfect condition. The 2021 Kennedy half-dollar coins, due to their limited mintage and high quality, were poised to become highly desirable commodities for collectors and investors alike. And this brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of these coins: their potential value. While most coins produced by the U.S. Mint have a face value of just 50 cents, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar has the potential to be worth significantly more, particularly when it is in near mint or perfect condition. Minted in both clad and silver compositions, the silver versions were especially prized, as they combine the historic symbolism of the Kennedy half-dollar with the intrinsic value of precious metal. As the years have passed, these silver coins have become increasingly valuable as both collectibles and precious metal investments, which has only increased demand for the 2021 editions. The rarity of specific versions also plays a critical role in determining the coin's value. For instance, certain 2021 Kennedy half-dollars that feature an error, such as a misstrike or a unique die variety, can command much higher prices in the marketplace. Error coins have long been coveted by collectors because they represent an anomaly in the minting process, and such irregularities make them unique. The rarity of these error coins, combined with their connection to the history of the Kennedy half-dollar, makes them an exciting prospect for both seasoned numismatists and new collectors alike. Over time, the market for these coins has evolved. As interest in coin collecting has grown, more and more people are looking for ways to invest in rare and valuable items. Coins like the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar represent a tangible piece of history that can appreciate in value. In fact, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar has become one of the most sought-after modern coins in the numismatic world, with prices increasing as more people recognize its potential as an investment. And now we reach the most exciting part of this story: the current value of a 2021 Kennedy half-dollar. While the coin's face value is just 50 cents, certain versions of the coin can now fetch up to $20,000, depending on their condition and rarity. Yes, you read that correctly, $20,000 for a single coin that, when it was first minted, was worth just half a dollar. This is a remarkable example of how the world of coin collecting can yield impressive returns, especially for those who have a keen eye for spotting rare and high-quality coins. For collectors, this represents an extraordinary opportunity. A coin that was initially released as a simple tribute to President Kennedy has evolved into one of the most valuable pieces of modern American numismatics. Whether you are an experienced collector or a newcomer to the hobby, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar offers both historical significance and the potential for substantial financial gain. With its iconic design, limited production, and the enduring legacy of President Kennedy, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar is a coin that will likely continue to appreciate in value in the years to come. For those lucky enough to have obtained a 2021 Kennedy half-dollar in perfect or near-perfect condition, the future looks incredibly bright. The coin's potential for growth in value makes it not only a symbol of history, but also a solid investment that can yield incredible returns. As the years pass, this coin will likely become even more valuable, as fewer and fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation. As a piece of American history, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar serves as a reminder of the impact that John F. Kennedy had on the nation. His leadership, vision, and tragic death left an indelible mark on the American people, and the Kennedy half-dollar continues to reflect his legacy. But as a collectible and an investment, the 2021 edition of the coin also symbolizes something else: the growing world of numismatics and the increasing value of rare coins in today's economy. So, if you're fortunate enough to have one of these coins in your possession, or if you're considering investing in one, know that you are holding a piece of history and potentially a very valuable asset. Whether you choose to keep it as part of your collection or decide to sell it for a considerable profit, the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar is a coin that has already left a lasting impression on the world of coin collecting. And as time goes on, its value may continue to rise, making it a truly remarkable investment for the future. In 1979, a quiet yet significant moment in American history would unfold. It wasn't the arrival of a major new policy or a landmark event in the nation's politics, but instead, a tribute to a figure whose legacy had already shaped the country in ways unimaginable. This tribute came in the form of a coin that would later go on to become a treasure for collectors. A coin that many overlooked, but few would truly understand the rarity and significance of. We're talking about the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin whose story reflects the history of a nation, a president, and the passage of time itself. Let's step back in time, nearly 2 decades before 1979 to the early 1960s. The country was in the throes of a transformation, both politically and socially. The United States had just elected its youngest ever president, John F. Kennedy. His leadership was marked by optimism, a vision for space exploration, and an unwavering commitment to civil rights. His presidency, although tragically cut short by his assassination in 1963, left an indelible mark on the country. Following Kennedy's death, the nation was devastated, and in the years that followed, many would seek to honor his memory in different ways. One of the most enduring tributes came in the form of the Kennedy half-dollar, which was introduced by the U.S. Mint in 1964. The Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just any ordinary coin. It was a symbol. The design, crafted by Gilroy depicted Kennedy's profile, facing left, a solemn yet powerful tribute to the late president. On the reverse, another striking design by Gasparro featured a powerful eagle clutching an olive branch, with the coin's inscriptions, United States of America and half-dollar. This coin was a direct reflection of Kennedy's legacy: strength, unity, and peace. And thus, it became a fixture in American currency, with millions of these coins circulating throughout the country. Fast forward to 1979. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar had been in circulation for over a decade, but the world was changing. The 1970s had been a turbulent decade for America. The country had emerged from the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal had shaken the public's trust in government, and the oil crisis had led to economic instability. Against this backdrop of uncertainty, the memory of John F. Kennedy still loomed large in the national consciousness. The desire to preserve his legacy was still strong, which is why in 1979, the U.S. Mint decided to produce a new batch of Kennedy half-dollars. Though not without a few surprises, 1979 was an interesting year for coin production, as it marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage. The Mint had made a pivotal shift in the materials used for coinage production. Following the silver crisis of the late 1960s, the U.S. Mint had gradually transitioned away from using silver in its circulating coins. By 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar was already being produced using a copper-nickel clad composition, which would become standard for most of the nation's coins. While this change was driven by economic factors, it also marked a shift in how the public viewed these coins. Coins like the Kennedy half-dollar, which were once made from precious metals, were now seen as more of a historical artifact than a valuable piece of currency. But despite the new materials and economic shifts, what made the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar particularly intriguing to numismatists and collectors wasn't the change in metal composition, but rather the subtle differences in design and production that resulted in 2 distinct types of coins: the Type 1 and Type 2 varieties. These differences might sound small at first, but to a seasoned collector, they were the very things that would make the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar such a coveted piece of American coinage. The Type 1 version of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar featured a sharp, clear image of President Kennedy's profile. His features were well-defined, his face appearing strong and lifelike. This was a result of the die used to strike the coin during its production. However, as the production process continued, there was a change in the dies used by the U.S. Mint. The Type 2 version, produced later in 1979, had a softer, more blurred portrait of Kennedy. The lines of his face appeared less defined, and the image lacked the sharpness of the Type 1 variety. This subtle alteration in design became one of the key features that separated the two versions of the 1979 coin. For most people, the difference between these two types of coins may seem minuscule. After all, it's just a matter of a slightly softer portrait. But for collectors, these small details are everything. The Type 1 version, with its crisp details, quickly became the rarer and more desirable of the two, especially for those looking to complete their Kennedy half-dollar collections. And this, of course, meant that the value of the Type 1 variety would rise significantly over the years. But the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just about the design variations. The year 1979 marked the continuation of a trend that had been gaining momentum since the late 1960s: the popularity of coin collecting. The 1970s had seen the rise of a new wave of collectors, many of whom were drawn to the history and artistry behind U.S. coins. This new generation of numismatists recognized the value in coins that were no longer being produced or were produced in limited quantities. In the case of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, the coin was not widely circulated, making it an increasingly rare find. Additionally, as the 1970s ended and the 1980s dawned, interest in coins made from precious metals, like gold and silver, began to rise. But the Kennedy half-dollar, with its unique place in American history and its connection to a beloved president, held a special place in the hearts of collectors. Coins from this era, especially those that featured unique variations, were becoming more than just a form of currency. They were artifacts of history, and their value was steadily increasing. As time passed, the value of certain 1979 Kennedy half-dollars began to rise steadily. Coins that had once been casually spent or thrown into drawers as loose change were now being carefully evaluated for their rarity and condition. The Type 1 variety, with its sharp portrait of JFK, gained traction in the numismatic community as collectors and investors alike began to see its potential. Coins that were well preserved, those in mint state condition, were particularly valuable. As these coins moved from the hands of ordinary Americans into the hands of collectors, their rarity and historical significance were becoming more apparent. And now, in the present day, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar has become something of a treasure. A coin that might have been casually overlooked now commands attention from collectors and numismatists around the world. The Type 1 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, in particular, has reached staggering values on the open market. While the average coin from this year might be worth a couple of dollars, the rare Type 1 variety can fetch incredible sums. In fact, if you're fortunate enough to own one of these coins in pristine condition, it could be worth as much as $112,000 at auction. Yes, that's right, $112,000 for a coin that many people have never even heard of. The rarity, the historical significance, and the condition of the coin all contribute to its extraordinary value. For collectors, owning a Type 1 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is like possessing a piece of American history, a connection to a past that shaped the country in ways both big and small. So, what does this mean for you? Perhaps you've come across a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in your pocket change, or maybe you've been handed one by a relative who once collected coins. You may have dismissed it as just another half-dollar. But now, knowing its potential value, you might want to take a closer look. If you find that you have the rarer Type 1 version and it's in good condition, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. For those who are new to the world of coin collecting, it's important to remember that the value of a coin isn't always in its metal content, but in its rarity, condition, and the historical context it represents. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, especially the Type 1 variety, is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can become extraordinary over time. So, the next time you're sifting through old coins, remember the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar. It might just be the rarest, most valuable coin in your collection. And who knows, Perhaps you'll be the one to unlock the full potential of a piece of history worth $112,000. The year 1976 was one of immense significance for the United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of the nation's independence, an occasion that was celebrated with grand fanfare and patriotism throughout the country. The bicentennial of the United States was a moment of national reflection, honoring the struggles, triumphs, and sacrifices that had shaped the nation since 1776. To commemorate this milestone, the U.S. Mint issued a special set of coins to mark the event, with one of the most iconic among them being the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar. The decision to feature the Kennedy half-dollar in the 1976 bicentennial coin series was part of a broader effort to create a sense of unity and pride across the nation. The half-dollar, which had been in circulation since the 1960s, was the perfect vehicle for this commemoration, not only because it featured the likeness of President John F. Kennedy, but also because it had become an important part of American coinage history. By this point, the Kennedy half-dollar had been in production for over a decade, and its familiar design had become deeply ingrained in the nation's collective memory. The U.S. Mint was about to add an exciting twist to the coin's design to celebrate a special moment in time. The first major change to the coin's design in 1976 was the introduction of a reverse featuring a bold new symbol, the Liberty Bell. This new reverse design was part of the bicentennial coin program, which included changes not just to the Kennedy half-dollar but to several other coins as well. Designed by John R. Cynic and engraved by Frank Gasparro, the reverse of the 1976 half-dollar featured the iconic Liberty Bell, with the coin's design also incorporating the year 1776 alongside 1976 to signify the country's bicentennial. The bell itself, with its distinctive crack and historic symbolism, became a powerful representation of the nation's heritage, while also serving as a fitting backdrop for the celebration of the country's 200 years of independence. While the reverse design of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was revolutionary in marking the bicentennial, the obverse remained largely unchanged. The well-known profile of President Kennedy, as designed by Gilroy was still the focal point of the coin's face, reflecting the enduring legacy of one of America's most revered presidents. This design had already become a symbol of hope, strength, and leadership, qualities that had defined Kennedy's presidency before his tragic assassination in 1963. The choice to keep Kennedy's image on the obverse of the coin was a testament to the lasting impact of his leadership and the role he continued to play in the national consciousness. But what made the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar even more special was the unique manner in which it was minted. The U.S. Mint produced the coins in both copper-nickel clad and 40% silver compositions, creating two distinct versions of the coin. The silver versions, in particular, caught the attention of collectors, as they combined the historical significance of the coin with the inherent value of precious metal. As the minting process for the 1976 coins began, the public excitement over the bicentennial celebration reached fever pitch, and the demand for the commemorative coins was high. In addition to the special design and composition, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in several different formats, adding to its collector appeal. The most common versions of the coin were those minted for circulation, which featured the copper-nickel clad composition. However, the U.S. Mint also produced proof versions of the coin, which were struck with higher pressure to produce a mirror-like finish and sharp details. Proof coins were generally reserved for collectors, and they were sold in special packaging to preserve their pristine condition. These proof coins quickly became a highlight of the 1976 bicentennial coin program, with their dazzling appearance and limited mintage adding to their desirability. In addition to the proof coins, the U.S. Mint also issued uncirculated versions of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar. These coins were struck using similar methods to the circulating coins but were packaged specially to keep them in mint condition. While uncirculated coins were not as shiny as their proof counterparts, they still possessed a high level of quality and appeal for collectors, who were eager to add them to their collections. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar, whether in proof, uncirculated, or circulated form, became a symbol of the nation's pride in its history, its heritage, and its future. For years, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar remained a popular and cherished coin, particularly among collectors of U.S. mint sets and bicentennial-themed coins. But as time passed, the value of the coin, while still steady, remained relatively modest. The 40% silver composition of the coin made it valuable to silver bullion investors, but it wasn't until much later that the true collector value of certain 1976 Kennedy half dollars would become apparent. The coin's value is largely determined by its condition, with high-grade examples, particularly those with exceptional minting errors, fetching far more than the average coin. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar is one of those rare coins whose value has been steadily increasing over the decades, with certain versions of the coin, especially those in uncirculated or proof condition, becoming highly sought after. While the typical 1976 half dollar in average circulation condition is worth little more than its face value, some of the more pristine examples, especially those graded by respected numismatic grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, have experienced a remarkable surge in value in recent years. The value of a 1976 Kennedy half dollar can vary dramatically depending on factors like its composition, clad or silver, its minting, quality, and the overall rarity of the coin. For instance, certain errors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, have made specific 1976 half dollars even more valuable. The presence of minting errors on a coin can make it highly collectible, as these errors are rare and add an extra layer of intrigue and interest for numismatists. Now, let's get to the real shocker. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar has reached impressive heights in terms of its value on the collector's market. While most 1976 coins still sell for a modest price, certain versions of the coin have fetched jaw-dropping amounts at auction. Coins with exceptional quality, particularly those graded at a perfect or near-perfect level, have reached values of $117,000 or more. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1976 Kennedy half dollar can now be worth over $100,000, depending on its rarity, condition, and specific characteristics. What makes a 1976 Kennedy half dollar worth such an incredible sum? It all boils down to rarity, quality, and demand. The pristine condition of these coins, especially those that have been carefully preserved and graded as high as MS68 or higher, is a key factor. These coins are rare not just because of their exceptional preservation, but also because few of them were originally saved in such excellent condition. The market for rare coins has always been driven by scarcity, and as collectors continue to compete for the best examples of the 1976 Kennedy half dollar, the price continues to rise. There are also certain unique variations of the coin that have contributed to its higher value. For example, some of the silver 1976 half dollars were minted with errors, such as misstrikes or incorrect mint marks, making them highly desirable to collectors. These rare errors can increase the value of the coin exponentially, especially if they are tied to the significant bicentennial celebration. To put it into perspective, a 1976 Kennedy half dollar that is in perfect condition and has been certified by a reputable grading service as a high-grade coin could easily fetch tens of thousands of dollars. Coins with errors or those with particularly unique characteristics may fetch even more. When collectors and investors are vying for a coin that represents not only a piece of American history but also a rare opportunity for financial gain, the price can skyrocket. For coin collectors, especially those who have been following the numismatic market over the years, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar represents a thrilling investment opportunity. The rise in value of these coins is a testament to the growing popularity of coin collecting, as well as the increasing interest in bicentennial-themed memorabilia. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar serves as both a beautiful reminder of the nation's history and an incredibly lucrative investment, particularly for those fortunate enough to have acquired a high-quality example early on. As a collector or investor, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is an exciting coin to add to any collection. Not only is it a beautiful representation of American patriotism and historical significance, but it also offers the potential for impressive financial returns. Whether you're interested in coins for their artistic merit, their historical value, or their investment potential, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar has become a rare and sought-after piece that continues to fascinate collectors around the world. In the last, number 1. It was 1973, a year that was, in many ways, a crossroads in American history. The country had survived the turbulence of the 1960s, decades marked by social upheaval, political scandals, and the Vietnam War. But the early 1970s brought with them new challenges. The U.S. economy was in the midst of the stagflation crisis, and the Watergate scandal was simmering, leading to the eventual resignation of President Richard Nixon. Yet, amid these political and economic shifts, there was a constant: the enduring legacy of President John F. Kennedy. For many Americans, Kennedy's memory was, and still is, associated with hope, youth, and a brighter future. His tragic assassination in 1963 had left the country in shock, but by the time 1973 rolled around, his legacy was very much alive. Kennedy's face remained a symbol of strength and optimism, and so it was fitting that he was honored in one of the most enduring ways possible, through a coin. The Kennedy half-dollar, introduced in 1964, would continue to be minted throughout the 1970s, including in 1973, and its story is much more than just a piece of currency. It's a tale of national pride, numismatic artistry, and, of course, collector value that continues to rise. At the heart of the story is the design of the Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that is more than just metal. It is an emblem of American history. When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in November of 1963, the U.S. Mint moved quickly to honor him with a coin bearing his likeness. The design was created by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, who worked meticulously to ensure that Kennedy's image would be captured with the dignity he deserved. The coin's obverse, the head side, displays a left-facing profile of Kennedy, with the words "Liberty" prominently inscribed above and "In God We Trust" to the left. Below Kennedy's portrait is the year the coin was minted. The reverse or tail side features an eagle holding a shield in its talons, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States, with the words "United States of America" encircling it and half-dollar beneath. From the moment the Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, it became an instant hit. Americans embraced the coin, which replaced the Franklin half-dollar, and began circulating quickly. However, as the years went on, the half-dollar fell out of favor with the public, as inflation and changing tastes led to a decline in its circulation. Yet, throughout the 1970s, the coin continued to be minted and was a staple of the U.S. Mint's production. For collectors, the Kennedy half-dollar was more than just a circulating coin. It was a piece of history, and for many, it was a way to remember the late president. The year 1973 would prove to be a fascinating chapter in the story of the Kennedy half-dollar. While the design remained largely unchanged from previous years, the minting process itself was undergoing important shifts. By the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint had already stopped using silver for the composition of most of its coins, including the Kennedy half-dollar. Coins minted from 1965 onward were made from a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the silver used in earlier years. This change was a response to the rising cost of silver, and it had a major impact on the numismatic world. For many collectors, coins from the earlier years, particularly those made with 90% silver, were seen as much more valuable than their later copper-nickel counterparts. But even though the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar wasn't made from silver, it still held significance for those who appreciated the historical value of the coin. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was minted at 3 different locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The mint marks of these different facilities would help collectors distinguish between coins produced in different locations, adding yet another layer of intrigue to the hunt for rare variations. In addition to the regular circulation coin, proof versions of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar were also struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins were specially produced for collectors and had a much higher level of detail, with a mirror-like finish that made them more desirable for numismatists. What made the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar even more interesting to collectors was the relatively low mintage compared to other years. While millions of half-dollars were being produced each year, the numbers were starting to decline as the coin became less used in everyday transactions. For example, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 45 million 1973 Kennedy half-dollars for circulation, but the proof coin mintage at the San Francisco Mint was only about 2.5 million. These lower production numbers meant that certain varieties of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar would become more scarce and, in time, more valuable. In addition to the low mintage, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was also becoming a collector's item due to its place in American history. By this point, many people who had collected coins from earlier years as a way to remember Kennedy were now looking to complete their sets with later issues, including the 1973 coin. The Kennedy half-dollar had become a symbol of an era, a reminder of a president whose life had been cut short, but whose impact on the country was lasting. Fast forward to today, and the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a piece of currency from the past. It's a sought-after collector's item that has gained considerable value, especially for those in excellent condition. While the average circulated 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is worth its face value, the real value lies in the rarer, uncirculated, and proof versions of the coin. The proof coins, especially those in pristine condition, have attracted serious interest in the numismatic world. But it's not just about the proof coins. The regular circulation coins, too, have seen a rise in value, particularly in high-grade examples. If you're lucky enough to own a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar in uncirculated or proof condition, you may be holding on to a treasure worth significantly more than its face value. As of today, some of the best-conditioned examples of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar have sold for as much as $121,000 at auction. That's right, $121,000 for a coin that, at first glance, might just seem like another half-dollar. It's a staggering figure, and it speaks to the enduring appeal of the coin, the legacy of John F. Kennedy, and the continued fascination with the world of numismatics. So, how did this happen? Why is a coin from 1973 worth so much? The answer lies in a few key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Coins from certain years are always more valuable than others, depending on how many were minted, how many survived in good condition, and the level of interest from collectors. In the case of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, the relatively low mintage of proof coins, coupled with the coin's historical significance, has made it a coveted piece among collectors. Moreover, the fact that the coin is tied to the legacy of a beloved president only adds to its allure. Now, you might be wondering how you can tell if you have a valuable 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. First, you'll want to look for any signs of wear and tear. A coin that has been well preserved, especially one that has never been in circulation, is much more valuable than one that has been spent over the years. If you have a coin in uncirculated or proof condition, it's essential to have it graded by a professional numismatist. A high-grade coin can fetch a much higher price at auction than one that is less pristine. The key takeaway here is that the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is far more than just a coin. It's a piece of history, a symbol of a great president, and a valuable treasure for collectors. Whether you have one in your possession or you're just starting to explore the world of coin collecting, the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is a coin that deserves attention. Its story is one of legacy, rarity, and timeless appeal, and its value is a testament to the enduring fascination with American history and numismatics. If you've got one of these coins sitting in your collection, or if you happen to come across one in the future, take a closer look. It might just be the $121,000 treasure you never knew you had. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. And make sure to subscribe to stay updated on more amazing coin stories and valuable finds. See you in the next one.